And before I move forward, I would like to again this morning thank Kyle and Michelle and Iwer and some of the sponsors who have come on board to help us bring this message. Because most days, as I go in about my business, I'd get a phone call and it would be somebody from Sabga Media want to interview me. Most days, different journalists from CNC3, TV, Guardian, they would call the radio stations that love to have me, 106.5, part of Sabga Media. When they bring me on for 15 minutes, it ends up running for 2 hours long. People love to hear me talk. That's not me boasting. That's handling stories. People know they have a champion when I talk. They know I will walk away from anything or stand up to anything because I have fought. I have fought for people and I have never sold out. I have given a large part of my adult life to fighting for people. First, as the founder of the Jericho Project, and then politics through the Progressive Empowerment Party. Sabga Media journalists would call me most days. Yesterday, Mr. Alexander, you could set up a Zoom. We want to do a Zoom, or we want your opinion. I'm running, I'm giving you your Zoom, I'm giving you the opinion. We're recording, you're typing, what are you doing? And they don't publish it. Now, I am the largest voiced politician in this country. My voice is bigger than Stuart Young, and he's a mimic man prime minister. As a political leader of a political party, there is nobody that has my reach. And every one of them will admit to that. Without the 1% owned media. And I'm saying all of that to let you know I built that on the people's trust. And I'll never betray the people's trust. The issue that we have to touch on today is the issue of bullying. And when Imran Khan's story, and Nadia Khan, you're an angel for putting that in the public space and defining this mimic man Stuart Young, this interloper, this squatter, this PNM squatter pretending to be a prime minister, that if it wasn't for PNM President Christine Kangaloo, a next squatter, he could have never get sworn in there because it's a vague and tenuous interpretation of the Constitution that they're slipping by. But they wait 22 hours and they call an election. So they leave all of us in opposition to say, do we fight the precedent of this appointment, or do we focus on sweeping the halls of power free of these people? I want to tell Trinidad something, and I want to tell and PNM supporters, I know I'm choking you all on truth, and I know you can't handle the amount of truth you get from me. But I want you to know your PNM party is a tool of the 1%. It is not a real political party. Everybody who organizes inside of there, who getting a handout, who getting a hand up, who getting a money behind the scenes politically. I ain't talking about those who getting money from the treasury. And even that is organized by the 1% and the lodge boys. But you need to know what failed this nation. This nation that was prospering under the Queen. This nation that was a world force in oil and agriculture and sugar and cocoa under the Queen is now a failed nation. This Trinidad and Tobago that was a world leader in the production and distribution of pitch now makes $7 million TT a year for what should be $30 billion in sales. Cocoa should be about $10 billion. Sugar, the entire World War II allied forces relied on Trinidad and Tobago sugar. And you have to know what the PNM front of the lodge did to this country. Because when we got independence, these people took over from behind the scenes. But anyway, Mr. Interloper, when Imran Khan's story was told, it struck a chord with me. And everybody who's ever been bullied will have a story to tell. And what happens when people get bullied? They pick a path Some people can't take it. Some people, it destroys their lives. Others become a powerful force for justice. In the past 6 months in Trinidad and Tobago, a little girl from Providence Girls committed suicide because of bullying. A little boy from Fatima College committed suicide because of bullying. I know it didn't make the news. Parents don't want it in the news. But St. Stephen's College from South, that one get to be chewed up in the news. We get to discuss it. The next little boy who committed suicide. Every year, I had an event called the Justice for Children March, the Akil Chambers Justice for Children March. Every year for 15 years. And I made sure the nation never forgot the name Akil Chambers. But one year, we heard about this tragic suicide of a little boy named George Matuk. And George Matuk committed suicide because of bullying. And we live in a society where bullying has gone on as a poisonous cancer against the vulnerable and the weak for too long. Too many parents today drop their children to school not knowing what their children enduring at the hands of bullying students in the school and at the hands of bullying teachers in the school. Imran Khan took bullying from Stuart Young for 5 years. Imagine going to school every single day. Imagine waking up. Mommy and daddy wake you up. Imran Khan, little boy. And mommy and daddy wake you up to bathe and to dress. Our number is 342-0081, 466-5391. Our numbers are 342-0081, 466-5391. My WhatsApp is 682-2110. I will check it regularly. If you want to tell your bullying story anonymously, you could WhatsApp me or you could call in. I want to say that I feel, Kyle, any calls that come through, bring them through. I want to say that I feel for Imran Khan. And Imran Khan, for 5 years, 3 terms a year, 3 months a term, 22 school days a month, 6 to 8 hours a day, lived in terror of what Stuart Young would do him next. When that boy finally got that battle, what unleashed on Stuart Young was no longer a human. Imran Khan wasn't thinking. Imran Khan was fighting for himself when he was the most innocent and weak, and Stuart Young took advantage of that. Father Anton Dick was the greatest enabler of bullying in St. Mary's College. I went to St. Mary's College. Father Anton Dick. Anthony DeVertile was not a good principal. He rode on the performance of other principals, but he was not involved in the day-to-day operation of the school except where it benefited him and his self-promotion. The St. Mary's College that I went to, Llewellyn McIntosh knows, because Llewellyn McIntosh was he taught me from Form 2 as my English literature teacher. Enrico Raja, who just died. When tutor was now formed, they used to strike regularly. Those of you who were in school in the 80s would remember that. And they used to strike regularly. And one day while they were on strike and there were no teachers in the school, Enrico Raja, who was the newly appointed Dean of Form 3, showed up outside our Form 2 classes and lined all of the children up and beat every one of us. He had no way of knowing. We were all, there were no supervision. So people were doing different things, and they had some people getting on very wild, and they had some people who were doing nothing and studying, and man, child, everybody passing the rush, and everybody get licks. And parents drop children to school, and they think sometimes prestige school, so your children safe. You don't know when somebody like Michael McIntosh, who worked as the secretary to Father David Tile, would invite some unsuspecting student, and I know this story firsthand from this student, to help him sort out books in the back room to molest and interfere with little boy children. That is the legacy of St. Mary's College that has been covered up. My sister just had to take her daughter out of a prestige school and put her into a private school. Costs a lot of money. Prestige school is free. Private school at the secondary level is very expensive. And she and her husband had to make that decision because her daughter was being bullied to the point where if they didn't rescue her, she was coming to self-harm. And Stuart Young, that interloping mimic man, that squatting prime minister, wants to tell you, let's push this all aside. They expelled Imran Khan, and his father must have felt like a shiny shilling. I bounced up Stuart Young's father in Massey the other morning. And my parents raised me to be polite to my elders. And I said, good morning as I saw him. He said, who is you? I mean, that is the kind of man that raised Stuart Young. That's the kind of animal that raised Stuart Young. That's the kind of animal who sat on the board of St. Mary's College and used his power to get Imran Khan expelled. Father David Tile said he wasn't expelled. He was sent away he was sent off school until he got psychological evaluation. But nobody, for the 5 years that Imran Khan was being brutalized by Stuart Young, nobody in St. Mary's College sent Stuart Young for psychological evaluation. In St. Mary's College, there is a cage now. When I dropped my son to his first day in St. Mary's College, what used to be called the small yard where we used to play football, there is now a cage 2 stories high where the little children, the Form 1s and the Form 2s, get to play so that to protect them from the bullies. A cage. And St. Mary's College needed to build a cage. Like I asked yesterday about the bullet shield wall in Nelson Street Primary. If a school needs a bullet shield concrete wall, we have a problem. If a school needs a cage to put the small, vulnerable children, we have a problem. And Gatsby Dolly's latest weave and wig is not the solution. Garcia and his dinosaur ideas is not the answer. Our education system is a mess. Parents are forced by law to put their children into a system where the curriculum makes no sense to nobody but those who manufacturing books in a school book mafia, changing 2 lines and 1 entry in the book, and every year, because I know I went to school with West Indian Reader that my brother had and my sister had before him, and Student's Companion, and those books last forever. Now, every year, Boyo and the other child, what's the other child name? Boyo and, you ever read those books? Something changes, 2 words, and the parents can't hand it down to the next child. The curriculum is madness. Little children, 5 and 6 years old, are being sent home. Boyo and Kala. Little children are being sent home with hours of homework after 6 and 7 hours of schoolwork. And any discipline will tell you, after 4 hours of training, call the best in the world at it. Call Brian Lara, call Dwight York, call Atto Bolan, call Shaka Hislop. Ask them, if you train at your sport for more than 4 hours, would you improve or would you start to get something called diminishing returns, where you're actually working against yourself? But there's nobody talking about this. There's nobody talking about the fact that school teachers are not evaluated after the performance of these children in the class every term, and that the principal is not being evaluated for the performance of the teachers in the school. Children's problems are ignored. Our education system is a mess, and that has to be addressed. But what has to be addressed even more is Stuart Young and his father can no longer be rewarded by the people of Trinidad and Tobago for their disgusting behavior. Stuart Young needs to be removed from whatever that position is called. He is not an elected prime minister. And his first response to the media dismissed Imran Khan's sister's claims. It took Lasana Liebert to be as open and as honest as a human being has been for a long time, and I was so proud of Lasana's story, and me and Lasana are the best of friends, to force Stuart Young to face the reality of what he did to that boy. And he is still speaking about it vaguely. Imran Khan needs to get justice. And Imran Khan needs to get public justice. We have an opportunity now to bring a bully low and send a message to all bullies that you will not prosper in life. I was at Paria when that bully, now Minister of Energy, lied to the families of the divers, left them sitting with fake hope, while he sat back and allowed the board and management of Paria to not only ignore the divers in the pipe, but to stop any other attempt at a rescue. As minister, he sat in the cabinet while lawyers were paid tens of millions of dollars to discuss the fate of those divers. To this day, the families have gotten nothing but crumbs. Certain businesses in the communities have reached out because 4 families lost their breadwinner in one time. And they had to put up with and continue to put up with that madness. Stuart Young was that minister. During the COVID lockdown, a plane landed when Stuart was Minister of National Security, and he denied that it landed. And it is only when people published internet maps, global plane tracking apps, did he admit, okay, a plane landed, but he didn't know about it. And it's only when the manifest was leaked that Stuart Young signed off on each and every person who was sitting in that plane. That's your minister. That was him as Minister of National Security. Him as parliamentarian. We only know about this one chance because the microphones were on. Who knows how much disgusting, nasty crosstalk came from that bully to the other side the past 10 years. When we heard his nasty zammy talk to the leader of the opposition and a couple of her female colleagues, we got an insight into that individual's depraved and rotting mind. And everything Sabga Media and the rest of the Lodge Boys want to do to try and put lipstick and pearls on this pig to make you believe that he is anything other than a well-dressed pig. I want you to hear me say this morning, every parent of every child should be ready to take to the streets and march until Stuart Young is fired from the parliament, revoked parliamentary privileges, blocked from ever holding any public office again. When George Matuk committed suicide, we in the Jericho Project, who were having the Akil Chambers Justice for Children March that year, we invited George Matuk's family to be part of the organizers. And that year we had the biggest, the estimate is 50,000 people marched that year. We started the march at King George V Park. And the front of the march was by the hollows around the savannah. And the back of the march didn't leave King George V Park yet. That is the response of people to the horror of a little child committing suicide. Imran Khan could have killed himself at anywhere along those 5 years. But he bottled up that pain and that suffering, the anxiety, the stress of not knowing, like a hunted animal, every single day, every hour of every day in that school, not knowing when his attacker would show up. And one day, Lasana Liebert saw his friend Imran Khan with a bloody baton. And he asked him, what's going on? And Imran said, I couldn't take any more. When I read those words, I couldn't take any more. I see those little children planning their suicides, finding the choice of rope, the location for the hanging, because they couldn't take any more. I held the hands of a grieving mother outside St. Stephen's College. That little boy, I had met him and his family a year before at a pep rally. Or I think it was at a funeral, actually. And that smiling little boy took a picture with me. He was a fan. So when his father reached out to me, his father said, he not hurting no more, you know. Didn't understand what he meant. So only when I heard the rest of the story. When a victim of bullying reaches to where they can't take it no more, they either kill themselves or they hurt other people. The Columbine mass shooting in America that put mass school shootings on the map, those children were victims of bullying. The mental torture that bullies victims undergo stays with them their whole life. Stuart Young wants to pretend that this is the past, that we should all move on. Like his stepdaughter, who was caught on a mountain of drugs and ammunition, and as far as we are aware, never brought to justice, never prosecuted. He believes that people of a certain class in society should escape responsibility for their action. He thinks himself above the consequences of his wrongdoing. His apology to the opposition leader was disgusting. And I know Kamala just moved on because sometimes it's not worth wrestling the pig. The families of the dead divers looked into Stuart Young's hollow eyes and listened to his hollow promises that they would do everything in their power to rescue those divers, knowing he was lying to them. The media that covered Stuart Young's lies as Minister of National Security on the Delsey and drug lord crew that visited with Keith Rowley at La Fantasy, that media is still silent, still trying to sell you the idea that this interloper, this lodge boy squatter, this child of entitlement could somehow be our Prime Minister. 322,000 people voted for the PNM because they were voting for Keith Rowley. None of them voted for Stuart Young as Prime Minister. He bullied his way into that position too. The PNM grabbed Penelope Beckles by the back of her political neck, dragged Foster Cummins by the political scruff of his pants, and shoved them, figuratively, into Balize House and forced upon them, like bullies do, a fait accompli, that you will come out of here and support this interloper, this squatter, this child of entitlement, this son of the lodge. You'll support him or else. What or else means to them in the PNM that is known for two things. Don't wash your dirty laundry in public and don't share each other's dirty secrets. We as a nation today, we have to face that a man who is undeserving of anybody's time or attention is squatting in our highest executive office. We'll take calls as we get them.
Yes, hello, good morning, Mr. Alexander.
Good morning.
Good morning, I'm first time caller to your program. Really good. Doctor and listening. But what I'll say this to you, I hear you saying he's a lot. If he is really a member of the fraternity, he's a disappointment. Because I am a member of that. My father is one, and he's a sheep.
Thank you for that.
Because you use a phrase, and what, that's why I just responded to that, leave that there. But I will say one thing before I go, what the Prime Minister failed to realize, things we do in the past is catch up with us.
Indeed.
So we just push it aside, we have to learn to deal with it.
Indeed.
So locked on listening and continue the good program.
Thank you, my brother. There are some harsh realities all of us are going to have to face as a society. We're taking the calls as they come. 342-0081-466-5391. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Alexander. Good morning. You actually give me something to look forward to week. To listen in the morning, boy. I want to touch back on your first point with the other stations that normally invite you. I do not know what will happen to these persons in these stations when the UNC goes back in office. How they will sit on mornings and listen or carry on our program. I don't know what they will talk about. Because, boy, I mean, it is the only substance I can listen to on morning now is your program. And I really wanted to call and just say that this morning, brother, because, as I tell you, every day I listen to the media and the persons who they put there, and you can clearly see the biased information that they put out, which is wrong.
Manipulation of thought. That's what it is. Manipulation of thought. They're trying to control the narrative. Yeah, that's what they do.
And I mean, they put these persons at the earliest program So they start off the day, off with lies and manipulation.
Correct.
And they put it in the weak minds of the persons who not seeing, who not thinking. After 10 years and more, these people run this country to the ground. They run to the ground, and you telling me they will still stand and say they're not too sure of what it is the USA is bringing to the table that is different. You know, I sometimes I just get so upset and annoyed with some
Well, I
of
want
the
to
things
tell you
that
this.
comes across.
If I could tell you this, right? Yesterday, the Express published that the Guardian lost $11.6 million last year. The Guardian loses upwards of $10 million every year, despite the fact that the government spends millions of dollars in public advertising at the Guardian, at Sabga Media. And if the government of the day pulls their advertising, that loss would be 30, 40, 50 million dollars. And I think that that's one of the things they're fighting. They're fighting the fact that if the PNM loses this election, they will lose the people who will not let them control the thought and the thoughts of the nation and narrative any longer.
That is it, sir.
Thanks for calling. Have a great day.
Yes, my brother. Yeah.
And that's a very important issue. Even that is bullying. Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel was prosecuted under that country's equal time statute that says media cannot use state broadcast privileges and licenses to promote one politician over another. This, we have a call. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Philip Alexander.
Good morning.
And how are you this morning?
I want to say I'm fine. How are you, sir?
No, this is Twiggy.
Hey, Twiggy, blame the speakers in this place. Sorry about that, darling. Oh my gosh, is you could have opened with some love. You could have opened with some love. Oh my gosh, Twiggy.
Because I let you know who it is.
You could have started with that. I sent a message for you to invite you to the event we having this Saturday in Bamboo number 1. I don't know if you got the message, but if you have the time, please, we would love.
Tell me exactly where it is and what time
it's opposite Grand Bazaar. Come for 5 o'clock. Your name tag for your VIP seat already set up. You just come.
Anything for you, boy.
All right, boss. All right, boss. Thank you for your call today.
I was surprised. This is the other morning I hear when you call Miss Kamala and everything. I just followed you, but I said, well, give me a surprise this morning.
You do me a wickedness because you could have let me know. All my followers and everybody watching, they going to laugh at me after. But I'm looking forward to seeing you.
All of them who say that Kamala is not ready, tell them here what's happening. Them not ready. Right? Tell them Kamala alone could go up and the country is going to vote for her. Once they get fed up, and my party, the People's National Movement. And if I could get fed up, you don't know the ground is fed up. Right? It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about our children and our grandchildren.
Thank you for that.
Tomorrow.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's not about me and you. We don't live real life.
We don't live real life. Yes, it's
what about our children and our grandchildren? We have to pay all those bills. They have nothing. What about the young man and the young woman who has so much of...
Okay, what I'm doing. Oh my gosh. Twiggy, if you're hearing me offline, I don't know what happened here. The phones all of a sudden just start to ring off the hook and we lost your call. Who we have now? But Twiggy, if you're listening to me, I'm telling you, your VIP seat reserved. Anybody else, all who would like to call 342-0081?
And we can't get our seat back. You hear me? But now they're advertising. Now they're advertising. Come and get your regulation. Come and get this. As it's the election, come and get everything. Tell them stop fooling people. Not everybody you could fool every time.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed. So,
and I tell you, I back in you, I love you, and I support in you,
well,
darling.
I want to
You
tell
hear
you,
me?
if this is okay with you, I would like to tell the people in charge of the program that I would like to make a space for you to come as you and to bring greetings
My
for your
kids
community.
always say in your heart, in your hand, and anywhere you
All
is. What do
right,
you
darling. All right.
Cover that back there. You never disappoint me. You never disrespect me.
Yes,
What you want me to tell you again? I know I
yes,
was
make me
surprised this
blush.
morning. And let me tell you something. And this is a serious note. My face gets serious with that. The youth and them love you. The youth and them tells me every day, most of the time when they see me, Twiggy Philip Alexander does be talking the truth. I ain't talking about no old clothes like me and you know. I talking about young people love you and they support you at all
I come in to
directions.
walk
You
with
hear what
you.
I said?
After this
They
Saturday
do
when
it
they
to
announce which seat I contest in, I come in to walk with you. Okay, boss?
darling, I'm afraid that you know.
All
And
right,
let me tell
good.
my sister good morning. Now let me tell Jolene John good morning on your program, right? Because I think she's listening and Miss Kamala is listening. So let us tell the both of them present good morning from
Absolutely.
East River. One day I hope that they conquer East River and give us. And why talking for? It's not about me. I talking for the people and the building. Street Duncan, Street George, Street all these buildings were in a lapidated condition. I would love to see that do over, fix over. Since from 2000 and when till now, when she has Kaplan, none of them peddling to transform it like paint and do something. Nothing at all. From and watch me, the PM vehicle coming down Charlotte Street and they looking at Shafford in a mess. All these places want upgrading, you don't come there. You never walk since you come in power, you never walk down these places and come and see the condition people living in and young people too. So when we talk, we had to talk not about we
Talk
had
the
to talk for the
facts.
community and it want to live. It want to live now. It's time to get a change. Let them pay and them go and rest now. Let somebody else come. Let the yellow control right now. And as they
Indeed.
say, Kamala ready, she ready for
She
all here.
ready for
And
them.
that is all it is.
She ready
Right?
for them.
She's
I won't
ready.
have them tissick so. She ready for them.
And easy, the jumpy, you're like a bomb right now. And the PNM of itself, it have a rumbling inside. That is why they call that election so they get them attendance. Without attendance, what they get them, make them go and buy some nice clothes or and swear in. And he did said, you remember in his speech, he said he's going to transform the PNM and bring some nice young people. Look at the people he started bringing. You understand me? See? He have nothing better to offer to we out here, and I can tell you that. And his office is right by me here. And the state around here is in a total mess. Right? It's in a mess. I ain't playing no game. I love my PNM, but they make me dislike them after what they did to my father, Patrick Manning. And they can't expect me to still support them after what they did to Manning. And Manning warned them, and they didn't hear. And now they want to come and say, if I did hear, it's too late, baby.
Too
We
late
never
shall
vote
be
for
the
that man. They
cry.
put that man in his hand. And that's
Indeed.
it. Have a good morning. I love
All
you, and I
right,
will
darling.
enjoy your
Boss, I'm
program.
messaging you when I come off the air. Thank you for calling in this morning. It was a
Thank
love
you for
hearing you.
calling. I love you.
All right,
Bye.
darling. Bye-bye. You take all the calls. Sorry, apologizing to everybody else, but that was Queen Twiggy, and if she calling in, we taking everything she had to say. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning to you, Mr. Philip Alexander,
Good morning.
leader of the.
PEP.
I must just say, what a powerhouse on 91.9. Wow, what a power Trinidad and Tobago on 91.9. This is a time where you will learn the truth and you will understand by people who research it and bringing facts to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, listen to him. But what I want to ask you, Mr. Alexander, I hear the opposition leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisasa, saying out on platform, she's not in parliament, she on political platform saying that government ministers had was to recuse themselves over 500 times. What that show me as a citizen of this country, the PNM really making the ministers multi-millionaires. Because if the same Stuart Young alone had was to recuse himself 157 times, what the family will do with all that money and 21 MPs in the PNM. Out of 21 MPs, 557 recusal from Parliament. 557 recusal from Parliament.
That is
and
unacceptable.
We must take that.
That is unacceptable. That means that is how conflicted they are in the business that being discussed in the cabinet. The government is not supposed to be involved in the business that the cabinet discussing. And if you are, then we have reached to a place where this is not government of the people. This is government for themselves, their friends, and their financiers. And we're in a deep, deep hole if that is the reality.
Philip Alexander, Mary King, where under the People's Partnership, give some nephew or some family member 49,000 or 149,000, I can't the figure, contract, and she was fired because Faris Alwari, Stuart Young, Keith Rowley, and then bring it to the attention and say that is misconduct in public office. Family members not supposed to be, ministers not supposed to be indulging themselves with family members, getting the contract, and that was about 49,000. These people them recusing themselves for hundreds of millions of dollars in contract. And we have to accept that as citizens of this country.
And
if we don't accept that as citizens of this country, they have PNM people them to call the radio station to attack us, abuse us, and try to belittle us.
Them days done. Them days done. I'll tell you why. Kamala bring out lions for them now. This is not the UNC from before. She have a squad too. She have a squad that will stand up to the 1% media. She have a squad that will stand up to the trolls. She have a squad now. And the squad is here to make sure we blocking the nonsense and bringing the truth. Thank you very, very much for your call.
And we must applaud you. We must applaud you and give you 10 out of 10 for supporting the United National Congress today. We don't care what you said yesterday. Yesterday was yesterday and today is today. We stand up for truth and justice.
War is war. They have casualties of war. We're going forward from there. Thank you, my brother. Have a lovely day and a lovely weekend. Stay tuned. Any more, Kyle? 466-539-1342-0081. If you were calling and you didn't get through because we were hearing the beeps, you could call again. We're going to take calls right up till the end. But this issue, here we go. Hello, good day.
Hi, good day, Philip. How are you going? Morning.
I am good, thank you.
Public servants and citizens of Tobago have to be wicked to themselves if they're still thinking twice about voting PNM again.
No, that would be madness. That's voting against a Charon.
Yeah, because you know what? After the last 10 years, we need to give PNM, it's like what Tobago do to them. Let's put 3 seats in 3 strong areas. And still lost. That is what I need to do about Tobago. To do with this government.
Indeed.
This government has done nothing to benefit the lives or the living conditions of the people there.
Opposite to that, they take advantage of people. They take away gate. They take away pension. They take away milk money. They take away laptop. They take away every little easement. They put VAT on things that didn't have VAT before. They make life hard, boy. This is dry coconut time in Trinidad.
Everything that will benefit the basic everyday person, they remove it.
They take it and then
people have to be wicked to themselves to want to still be thinking about this for good.
And I hope you're mobilizing your family and coming up. We're having an event on Saturday in Bamboo number 1 from 5 p.m. If you have children, bring the children. We're having Bouncy Castle and face painting. Come through and have a time with us.
But it was a in Highland in Westmore after was going to talk to you. But I would like you to take a drive up Bondron in Rostan and see the condition of the road up there.
I want to come. Watch me.
That is one area they're going to lose. I telling you.
Well, if you come Saturday, you will love who we put in as the representative for Upper Bonds Road at Fallen in Diego Martin Central. I want to tell you, my number is 682-2110. That's my post. Send me a WhatsApp. We'll talk off here. All right? Have a good day, brother.
All right. Okay.
So, back to the issue, right? Because I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, this cannot be. If this was about race, if this politics was ever about race, Laventille Hill would be better than Goodwood Park Hill. Check yourself. If it was ever about race, Beetham would be better than Westmoreland. Beetham exists before Westmoreland. Beetham would be better than Westmoreland. If this was ever about race, if PNM ever cared about their supporters, Sealots would be like Bayshore and Regent's Park and Shorelands. This is the reality. Nobody in Trinidad and Tobago got rich disconnected from the treasury. We either getting money direct from the treasury or we getting money from people who getting money from the treasury. The treasury, the economy was built on one issue, oil and gas. 97% of the money in the country came through that. So every business had to be built understanding that. How is it that you could claim these 322,000 supporters and treat them so bad? When a woman finally reached the horn in a man, it's because she can't take it no more. The PNM supporters need to behave now like these victims who say, I can't take no more. I can't take the CPO telling me after 13 years of no salary adjustment that we must accept less than 4%, while a prime minister who already earning $68,000 a month, making more than public servants making in a year, he must get a 47% increase and millions of dollars in back pay. If that is not abuse of process, if that is not advantage, if watching the same man that tell you tighten your belt, the next 3 years gonna be hard, but look away while I gorge. As the caller just said, PNM supporters who continue to vote PNM after all of that had to be hating themselves, boy. Had to be hating your children. You telling your children in the grocery, when you're walking through the aisles with your little children, Mommy, I could take this. Mommy, I could take that. No, put that back. We have that home. You know you don't have it home. You're embarrassed. You're counting. You're making sure the money in your purse can cover what you have to buy. You know that. The country reached to selling cheese by the slice. That's the truth. People are suffering in Trinidad and Tobago. And false pride, keeping us from being honest. People have to be honest. We look at the size of the crowd in the UNC meeting last night. It was twice the size of the crowd in PNM pulling Woodford Square. People know. They're waking up. We launching the Western Front this Saturday in Bamboo number 1. We launching the candidates for Diego Martin West, Diego Martin Central, Diego Martin Northeast, and St. Anne's East. Bring your family and come. We having doubles, we having corn soup, we having bouncy castles and face painting, where we money could reach, where we hand could stretch, because we don't have them deep pocket finances. We're not connected to the 1%. The Progressive Empowerment Party, that is a proud part of the coalition of interest with the United National Congress under Kamala Prasad, sir. We're doing what we could do. But we expect a bumper crowd on Saturday, 22nd March. The politics on stage start from 5 p.m. but the gates open at 2. If you want to bring the family to have a good time on us, do that. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up.
Street 919 FM. Stay with us for news, interviews, and commentary that shape our democracy. Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
So, today, we touched on some very sore issues. And I want you to hear me tell you this again. You cannot reward Stuart Young, who bullied Imran Khan to the point where Imran could have committed murder or commit suicide. You cannot reward Stuart Young, who lied to the families of the divers while Paria left those people to die. You cannot reward Stuart Young, who sat down in the parliament and disrespected every woman, every mother, every sister, every daughter, every wife, every girlfriend in this country with his disgusting Zami talk. That is what we heard on an open mic. Imagine what we do here. You cannot reward Stuart Young, who lied to the nation as he conspired with Keith Rowley to have Maduro's man of business, Delcy Rodriguez, invade our airspace during a lockdown and was ushered under VIP circumstances to meet with the Prime Minister in the Prime Minister's house. You cannot reward him. Stuart Young needs to be fired. He needs to be fired, rehired, and fired again. You need to fire him about 4 times on behalf of everybody. We will be right back. Trinidad and Tobago.
We go fix it. We go fix it. PEP go fix it. No jobs, no safety, no water, no justice, no accountability, bad roads, corrupt politicians, no more. We're going and fix it. It's time.
By PEP, Progressive Empowerment Party. Save TNT, vote PEP.
Save TNT, vote PEP.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
This morning I was supposed to be joined on air by David Naked and my brother Dr. Paul Elias Alexander. I asked both of them to excuse me because I wanted to deal with this issue. Monday we will be back here at 8 o'clock. Saturday we are in Bamboo number 1. Come and join us. Until Monday, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.
Vibes get done, data get done, minutes get done, speed get done. Digital is the real #1. Switch and done, hurry up and come cause while you're waiting, everybody online speeding. Full fast to the top, yeah we leading. Digital have it luck and you need to switch. Now is the right time to come in or sign up online. Digital is one of a kind.